Well, today is Dodge Day. Well, maybe Ram, I guess is what they call this stupid truck now. But we're going to be messing around with it because we got carrier bearing problems again. Yes, I just changed the carrier bearing. I got maybe 50,000 miles out of that bitch. And the rubber part just disintegrated out of that aluminum strap. I think it's aluminum. But it's pissing me the fuck off. So, we're going to eliminate that part. Yes. I'll show you how. Let's get under this truck together and do a recap. So, I had driveline failure, of course, as you see here. I had to zip tie and tape it all up. That was the only way to make it back. Now, it was risky, but it was one of those things where I just had to do it on the spot because I did not have the proper tools to fix it then. And this thing is really pissing me the fuck off. So I decided to spend, I don't know, what was it, 700, 800 bucks to get a nice big aluminum drive shaft and never have to deal with this fucking issue again. This just showed up today and it took it quite a long fucking time, to be honest. But I gotta tell you, it may become the best $700 that I can spend. Now it comes already pre-done with the U-joints in it, and the only thing aluminum is going to be the whole drive shaft. The ends are still a steel. So you get the yoke too, which is kind of cool. And we're going to tear out the two-piece system. Well, I'm going to. You guys are just going to sit back and fucking relax. Well, just like the radiator, Dodge here does everything one fucking size. So those bolts there you see, those are only 15s. And hang on. Okay, so we got to remove this, you know, of course, but this whole thing too out of the way so that the new drive line has room to move, actuate with the rear end. And again, it's all 15 millimeter. I mean, it's nice. I mean, unlike Chevy and Ford that mix shit up, you know, these would have been something fucked up. You know, they would have been 16 millimeter. This would have been maybe the 15, and then the very back ones would have been like 14s or something stupid. That's just how it is with other vehicles. I'm not saying Dodge is any better, but at least they make it to where you only need one goddamn tool. Now I got this thing zip tied and taped in, and this made it all the way from Washington State to Minnesota, and then back from Minnesota to Washington State. The first time this broke, I zip tied it and taped it. It only made it from California to Washington, and the zip ties and all that failed, and it was doing its thing again, banging around and falling, all that other good shit. So these two-piece drive lines just don't work in Dodge because they don't have a good system. And I'll show you when I get it out, but apparently they don't crimp this around the rubber. It's just a flat piece of metal that they glue the rubber to, and it just tears free all the time because there's not that extra support that Ford and Chevy's manufacturers, whoever makes them, crimps it and allows it to actually hold. And the only thing that goes bad, well, what goes bad on the Ford and the Chevys after about 200,000 plus miles is the bearing itself. The carrier bearing fries, and the rubber's still decent. I mean, but sometimes too the rubber has failed, but still it's, you know, 300,000 miles before you have to worry about one of these. This is like every 50,000 miles. All right, finally got that bitch out of there. It wasn't too difficult. Like I said, it was all the same size. I did have to use the impact wrench because some of the fucking bolts on there just hadn't been released since the day it was made. It looks about the same length, but I can't get the two to line up, and I'm not even going to bother, to be honest, because it's kind of easier to deal with when it's in two pieces to throw around and take it to the recycler or wherever. But you do want to remove that carrier bearing plate, and you can remove it all in one shot. You don't have to take these side ones out, but I did because the very last one, I don't know if it was this one or this one, but the gas tank's like right here, and you probably need two swivel dicks to get your wrench in there, and then you could probably bust it free. But that's the only issue, is the fuel tank. You can only get one, and then there's the strap, which is right here with the big long fucking bolt and screw, and to get past it is, whew, it would be a fight. So it was easier for me after I did the 3, I said fuck it, and it was easier just to bust the 4 loose, and then that one was just right there out in the open exposed. So you do it any way you want. I chose just to take the whole thing apart, and really it didn't even take that long, especially with the air gun. Jesus, I just want to say real quick, holy fuck, it looks good. That's one thing. But the other thing is how light this was to put up and lift over my head. No effort at all. And the quick thing that I did, because I'm laying in the rocks, and it hurts, and it sucks, and there's not much you can do, so I just drug the whole box under with it in here, and fucking A, man, I was like, and it was easy. It was fucking easy. No struggle. No marring it up. Oh, even in the rocks you can do this, man. It's so simple. So it's got a little bit of a vibration, and somewhat of a shimmy. I don't know, can you guys hear it? Can you hear it? I mean, it's just a slight... Is it? Oh, shut that... Nah, you can't really hear it now too much. Yeah, I'm videoing while I'm fucking driving. What are you gonna do about it? Look at this shit. Dodge. The best truck in the world. How the fuck does a transfer case come apart like that? Bullshit. Well, I had to MacGyver this shit together because I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I've probably the last 10 exits or so in Oregon. I ended up finding a guy who worked on Toyota trucks only. Yes, he only worked on 4-wheel drive Toyota trucks only, but he was able to let me in. Now, it cost me $800 to have him help me fix this problem, to put the studs and everything back on it. But the guy was super nice. I mean, he didn't even have to help me, but he did. He let me go right. So what caused this issue was the front drive shaft. I never greased the little knuckle part, and it ended up getting the wobbles and bad vibration, which worked the transfer case loose. It literally tore the studs off. After my repair, you can see I put some mileage on this bitch. I think the repair happened around 280,000 miles. Now I got 300,000. I got more than that now, but as you see on there, I've been putting some mileage on, finding a lot of shit that can go wrong with this truck. You know, they just didn't make things the way they should have, so it sucks in a lot of dirt and snow, especially when I get behind those hay haulers. It just gets packed fucking hay. Somebody said there's supposed to be a trap door on there. I haven't looked. I don't care. Just this shit gets annoying because I get the check engine light because of this. And I got the driveline out of my truck here in the front driveline, I should say. Shaft, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I have it out, and I'll show you why here in a second. She is in her whole entire beauty. What happened was I never greased this. I forgot. At least 100,000 miles. Forgot. So you can't really see it. Gotta have like the fucking eagle eye in there. But I mean, there's nothing left. It's become a pile of shit. So I have a new one ordered, and they're only like 140 bucks. No kidding, off eBay. 140 bucks, refurbished. So, you know, it wasn't that costly of a mistake, and it's very easy to change anyways, but it's one of those things where if you're not on it, it's gonna bite you in the ass. So that thing fucking vibrated like a bitch and tore my transfer case out. Broke all the studs. I'm serious, all the studs but one, but the nut on the back of the stud vibrated off. So really, it was just in there, wobbling like a dick in there, just eating that asshole. Rat bastard. Well, that's the power of the 45. Didn't even fucking scratch it. I mean, well, it did. That's about it. It's fucking scratched it. I don't even see where the second one hit. I was firing it left-handed, aiming through the phone. I'm gonna call it a camera, but I don't know if you call your phones cameras or not. But anyways, it's toast. So I gotta put the new one in, which is really nice, but I don't really want to put it in yet. I'm gonna drive without it because I'm gonna order those not auto locking, but manual locking hubs for the truck. Just did a fuel filter change. Can't zoom in anymore, but that's it out there. I throw them out there so that they can drain, and then I'll put them in the garbage later. I like to burn them too. Like I was saying, I was doing a filter change, so I Always need a ladder to get in the goddamn thing because it's so fucking high. Hate it. So, as I was saying, I'm going to get the manual locking hubs. They're about $1,500. Yeah, that's right. $1,500 for manual locking hubs on something that should have been already. So the whole time I'm driving, that wheel as it turns the ring gear, then the pinion, and the pinion turns the drive shaft, which in turn just sits there and turns because it's not connected to anything until I switch the four-wheel drive switch. It's one of those things where any vibration and feel through the steering wheel is because of that. I have the drive shaft out and it actually feels a little better. No, I'm not kidding. Like the vibration, there was some, well, of course with that one bad, but just from day one when I bought this truck, I always had a little bit of vibration. So it's kind of annoying. Well, god damn it. That fucking transfer case took a shit again. It done worked itself off after all that, and I guess you're gonna find out in video number 2 what the hell I'm gonna do.